Welcome back to day 3 of our 12 days of SWOTVAC. How are you, Erica?
I'm well, and you're looking bright and fresh today.
Yeah, so are you. I'm excited. Now, in this third of our 12 days of SWOTVAC video series, we're going to talk briefly about the important stuff from week 3 of semester. Remember week 3 we looked at the marketing environment. What's the marketing environment?
Place marketing happens in. It's quite a strange way of describing it, because sometimes we even talk about the environment within the environment, which can get a bit confusing.
Yeah.
But it's all of those things that influence marketing. Marketing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens within organisations, it happens with customers, it happens in different countries. All of those things are examples of factors within the environment.
So marketers have to be looking at what's happening in the world around them.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to impact on what they're doing in marketing.
On how they do marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So we gave you a few definitions in that lesson as to what the marketing environment is. And we spoke about the various environments and split it down to 2 main groups.
That's right.
There was the micro environment.
Close to the firm.
Micro, small, closer to.
Yes.
And the macro environment. Broader, those big, broad
Things
issues and forces.
out of your control.
Yeah, completely out of a marketer's control. Each of the now, why does a marketer have to monitor what's happening in the world around them? Because each of these things could really impact any changes or trends occurring could impact on what the marketer's doing.
If the competitor changes what they're doing, you might have to change what you're doing.
If your customers change their preferences, for example, you might have to change what you're doing as well. So
that's the exciting thing about marketing. Nothing ever stands still.
Yeah, and I guess we look at that micro environment in terms of customers and suppliers and competitors, intermediaries. I mean, yes, they're the things that the company really has to monitor very closely. But they shouldn't ignore those big, broader forces as well. Those things happening in the macro environment, in the world outside of the organisation.
And I think that's where some of the real challenges lie for marketers, is because it's easy to identify these broad forces and changes that are occurring, but whether or not they impact us is the harder bit to determine, because not all of the changes do impact. It depends on the business that we're in.
Okay, so the sorts of changes that might be under the macro environment, for example, an economic change might be interest rates.
That's right.
Yeah, so if interest rates are falling, what impact might that have on the industry in which you operate and your own business?
If you're in a fish and chip shop, probably not much.
Possibly, yeah.
But if you're a builder of houses, then it probably does make a big difference.
Exactly. But once again, if you're a builder of houses for young first home buyers versus retirees...
That's right.
There's going to be a big difference there because
Absolutely.
Interest rates dropping.
Yep.
First home buyers are going to
purchase
be able to spend more money.
That's right.
Whereas retirees that are living off their interest are going to have less money. Okay, so
again, you have to know who your customer is before you can understand the impact that the macro environment might have on your business, and it's all interwoven.
Yeah, incredibly complex, and I think that the main message from week 3 is that marketers have to continually monitor what is happening in the world around them.
They do.
Why? So that they can capitalise on opportunities and avoid any threats that might arise. Yeah. So that was week 3, the marketing environment. Our tip of the day for day 3 is to look for connections between topics. Connections between topics?
Well, it's interesting because we're only up to week 3, but I think particularly given what we've just talked about, the amount of information that you have to think about in this subject could be starting to feel a little bit overwhelming, even this early. How am I going to remember all of these different things? And the key to that is to look for the connections, because that actually reduces the total amount of things you have to remember.
It's amazing. I mean, those connections are there through every week.
Absolutely.
For example, week 3, we've just been talking about the marketing environment. One of the groups or players in the micro environment is customers.
That's right.
And guess what we're going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks? Customers.
That's right. And we've used some of those terms that you had to learn about in week 2 in our discussion of these various things. And value, of course. Let's not forget value.
That's there every week, isn't it?
It's there every week. So use those things to think about the connections. A concept map might be a good way to do it. Some people think visually. Can you make visual connections between the various elements?
Yeah, and drawing that concept map as you're studying each topic and drawing lines, physical lines to connect one topic to another with some words that explain what that connection is.
Yep.
That can really help improve your understanding.
Absolutely.
You know? So don't think of this as studying and revising distinctly separate topics. They are all connected.
They are.
Good luck, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the next episode of 12 Days of SWOTVAC.